Pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll go to the roll call.
John Body.
Here.
Rick Williams.
Here.
Christine Bobby. Here. Reggie Billigan. Here. George Tyler.
Here.
Charles Body is excused, and Jeff Silent will show their resignation.
Okay, now we'll have the approval of the agenda. And I'd like to add to new business having to do with looking over the approval of the minutes and the bills and the agenda. Something we'll discuss, we'll use that as number 9.
I don't understand. Review the minutes?
Yeah, well, we usually take 2 or 3 minutes on each section. We should have all read over those when we went over our meeting packets. And what we would do is just leave it open for questions or corrections, and just move to have a motion on it. That would eliminate maybe 10, 12 minutes out of the meeting, since the reason we start meeting at 6 o'clock was to kind of utilize time better. Okay, and we have to do a motion to accept Jeff's resignation for number 10? Okay, we'll do that. Resignation for Jeff Seilinger.
I'll make a motion.
Well, we'll do that on
Oh,
new
okay.
business.
I thought you wanted it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we'll just list that under the new business. That'll be number 10.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion for,
We have a couple more things.
pardon?
We have a couple more things.
Well, that was on, you had that already, didn't you?
Well, under old business. we
Oh,
need to
I'm
put,
sorry.
Under old business, we need to put backhoe agreement back on there.
Okay, number 9, backhoe agreement.
And then under new business, workshop with EQT. I have a date to announce on that.
Okay.
And then we have one assessment permit. And that's all.
Okay.
Hmm?
I okay that. Assessment.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll get to it.
And in 11 would be workshop with EQT. All right, now, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
We'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, we'll move to visitor comments. Bob?
I guess the only thing I'd mention is they sent you that letter, and, it suggests that maybe you write a thank you letter to Representative Gabler for intervening on behalf of the Water Authority over the NPD estimate. And it was even said at the Sewer Authority meeting, what did they say, Franny, 4 of the board members got phone calls from DEP saying they weren't going to approve the permit? That's what Betty said at the sewer meeting.
No,
Did you get one?
Somebody was asking about the permit.
Yeah, I asked about the permit, but she said 4 members got phone calls from
They
DEP.
just called and asked us if we had a problem. You know what I mean? If we had a
Did you
problem.
get one?
with the water and storage, yes. Yeah.
So how'd you guys respond?
I just responded, we don't really have a problem. We're just trying to declare all the water,
Yeah.
what to do with it. And
So why would they say they weren't going to get the permit?
I don't know.
That was a
Well,
puzzle to me.
they just, I know they called Betty, I know they called me, I don't know who else they called. This was about a month ago. And they thought maybe we was having an argument about it. I said, no, we're just trying to, do something with all that water. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
But to your recollection, they didn't say anything about denying the permit, right?
As far as me?
Yeah.
No, what they were
Because-
asking,
because
was
they
they thought
don't
we
get
had a
it.
problem between the sewage and the water or something like that.
But regardless, you got it, and it'd be nice, even just give them a phone call. Or let Ken Canwell know when he
Yeah.
comes down.
Good point, Bob.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Ed will get to you, and Eric will get to you, and Fran, do you have anything? Nothing. Okay. All right, we'll, take a minute here and go over the minutes of the reorganizational meeting.
Oh, I forgot to put that on the minutes.
Gotcha.
I need to put the organization.
Do I have a motion to accept the reorganizational minutes, meeting minutes of January 10, 2012 with the Township Water Authority?
I make a motion to approve them with the addition of in number 19, we state that the executive session was about a personnel matter.
Says employee raises. So what do you want to change to?
You don't have to change it, just explain that it went into executive session, it was about a personnel matter, because we always have to state from the back what it was about,
Oh,
before
I
we go
had-
into
I
it.
had employee raises there, right?
Employee raises,
Yeah,
but you want it
I
for...
know, but I think you still have to say that.
Okay.
Okay, employee, okay.
Do I have a second with that exception?
I second.
All in favor? Motion carried. Now we'll look over the minutes of the last Township Regular Water Authority of January 10, 2012. Do I have a motion to accept the meetings of the regular January 10, 2012 Jay Township Authority water meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
You
Motion
just
carried.
need to correct Fran's last name, it's probably just a typo.
Where's that?
Up on top for the visitors.
That's how it sounds in.
Oh, I think that's what his proper name.
Okay, got it.
I didn't even get that. Okay, we'll have the treasurer's report.
Okay. There's going to be a couple corrections I have to make when I get it back here, since I didn't put in some right figures on the breakdowns. But your totals on the right-hand side are correct, so, your balance, Northwest Savings Bank, January 1st was $6,836.13. Total deposits, $4,790.07. Coupon processing fee is $2.55. Transfer to First Commonwealth checking account is $5,000. Balance January 31st, $6,623.65. Readiness to serve revenue is $3,597. Consumption revenue, $1,175.77. Late fee revenue is $16.88, interest is 42 cents, number of coupons 52. First Commonwealth Bank, checking January 1st is $29,019.54. Total deposits $26,998.06. Accounts payable $42,703.73. January 31st, $13,318.87. Deposits, readiness to serve revenue, set $4,706. Consumption revenue, $4,061.66. Late fee revenue, $450.67. Late fee processing revenue, $155. Certified mail revenue is $4.44. Reconnect fee is $100. Permit refund, that was for the Title II. The MPDES permit was $500. Transfer from Northwest Bank was $10,000. Number of coupons, 104. The capital improvement account, the balance as of January 1st was $22,789.69. Interest was $4.76. Transfer to the checking account for engineer costs for plant upgrades, that was Gibson Thomas, $10,255. Balance January 31st was $12,539.45. It's the revenue part that I have to go back over again and make some corrections, but other than that, all the totals were correct.
Take a minute and look at the bills.
Christine, you said I had to add $2.55 onto the total First Commonwealth accounts payable.
With the total you came up to 42,706.38. The total up above 42,703.73. Don't you add the $2.55 for the First Commonwealth? Come up with the bottom total?
Okay, yeah, the $2.55 was added onto that. What's our,
Okay, then I think it should be 28 cents
what I
instead
have on
of
the treasurer's
38.
report? Okay, I had 42,773. Okay, that's right. Okay, so then the total should have been 28 cents instead of 38 cents. When I add 2.55.
That's what I get. What does everybody else get?
Well, I can see it is.
Yeah, it is. So you're not looking for 10 cents somewhere.
Okay, so we're going to be approving $706.28.
These loans, the first Penvest is the one that's up in May, right?
It's a smaller edition.
Yes.
Small one.
Yeah, June 1st, that'll be paid off.
June 1st.
And then the next one's supposed to be paid off in 2014. I'm thinking, if I remember correctly, I believe it's in September of 2014.
Question on 46, summit overhead door, maintenance on garage door plant. Is the door broke? The overhead door?
Yeah, we're just continually going up and down, we
Oh.
don't stop. We had to unhook it and manually bring it up and down.
Gibson Thomas, PWS amendment. P&M Cole, notice of upcoming blasting schedule. Joseph Lazar, confirmation letter to do 2011 audit. Township supervisors, response from EQT on their PPC plan.
Are we gonna be talking about that board member training later in the meeting, or not?
I didn't put it on, I just had it, made copies for everybody.
Yeah, I would highly recommend that one of you go. I went one time, and it's very informative, especially on capital projects, like we're hoping to get into a Penvest loan. So, Rick, or one of you new members, it's worthwhile going. It's a good place for, if you have questions too, you might find answers there to questions you have about anything. March the 1st.
Yeah, March 1st in Mars, and March 8th in Bethlehem.
Mars would probably be the better of it.
I don't know where the
Registration is due by the 20th.
Yeah.
Would that need to be covered by us as individuals, or would that be covered by the authority?
We pay for that.
Isn't that outside of Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Yeah, you really wouldn't have to stay overnight somewhere. Could leave early in the morning.
We have a volunteer.
You have to check the schedules. Bob will go.
Maybe our token board member.
I'd be interested in going.
Okay, we'll check the schedule, let me know, and I'll get you registered.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah.
I wonder if we should make a motion on that, in case she decides to go probably. We should make a motion to pay.
Okay. We'll, like to have a motion to send Vicki Burlingame to the board member training in Mars. The water authorities to take care of the cost plus the mileage. Okay? Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Very good. Thank you, Vicki. All right, Peg, let's move to delinquencies.
Payments are coming in really good right now, and here the first week of March, I'll be sending out the late notices, but right now we are getting payments in.
See, we had one shut off the last time. Was that water turned on later?
They usually are, about the same way after they get a call.
Pretty difficult to carry on a household without water.
Yeah.
Okay, we have the maintenance report.
Week of January 3rd, 2012, Steve and I plumbed in new rinse lines for the discharge permit, worked on the heater at the plant, ordered new parts, set up a meeting with Peter Bussey and me and myself on what needed to be done on the consent order, and also check the progress. Trained the sewer authority on the meter read equipment, completed daily routines. Week of 1/9/2012, Steve and I finished the plumbing on the filter rinse. We also worked on the basins, and I called to get prices on cleaning them out. We plumbed in new PAX chemical line, do the air bubbles in the old line. Sign up for DEP dweller reporting, the daily routines. 1/6/2012, we had plant problems. Chlorine pump quit pumping, the raw pump quit also. Working on this, it's become a serious problem. The raw pumps quit at least twice a week. I called Roflex, I said the problem is an RN, and it's not the computer system. I also started running the plant with CME double checking my work. Steve did some flying samples from the discharge basin and analytical services. We also set up a twice-a-month schedule for discharge permit water testing. We did our daily routines. 1/23/2012, I signed up for the water test in the conference in State College. I went to Houston Township to check their end for a week at the water tank. Glenn Cowles from PA Royal Water came in to help locate leaks and train the distribution system. Steve and I worked in force locating shut-off valves to houses that had to be shut off and then turned back on. We met with township supervisors on the main line at the Sportsman's Club. The logging crew has deep ruts over the top of the line. There's concern for line breakage. I also received notice that P&N Coal Company will be blasting above the Burndale water tank. 1/30/2012, Steve and I went to Sportsman's Club to talk to the logging crew about crossing over a main line. And we came to an agreement that they would build the road up 4 feet until the ground freezes, and then they can drive over it, as well as keep it maintained. We also went to force and dug up shut-off valves by hand and turned water off on Ash Street. We did maintenance and daily routines. Mileage on the truck for the month is 613.
I don't understand you're going to Houston Township. Did they
Well,
ask you to come, or how
No,
did that come about?
what was happening was we were unaccounted for a lot of water that was being made. We didn't know where the leak was. We looked through our system for 3 or 4 days. We searched our entire system, so we went down to Houston Township and we found a good sized leak down there. So then we knew not to quit looking on our end, because it wasn't on our end, it was their end. We were told that there was a leak at their water tank, so we went down and checked it out, and it is leaking about 40,000 gallons a day.
Are they doing anything about it?
They're going to here within the next month. They're actually trying to find somebody to come down and do the work.
Is the tank itself leaking, or one of the?
It's leaking on the line coming out of their tank.
On the outlet.
Yeah.
So the tank itself isn't?
Yeah, Keith Willie said he was doing some work down there and noticed a lot of water was running out from the hillside. So I ran down and tested it, and they said that they're aware of it. They're gonna try to get it fixed as soon as possible. But we don't know which end had the leak. We thought our end was leaking, the tanks were filling up. The plant was running like 19, 20 hours, normally it runs 15 hours. We did have 2 small leaks in town, but it was still running awful high. So we went down and checked out what Keith said, and then we found our problem was on air. And
If they knew about it, though, it would have been nice of them to give you a call and let you know.
yeah, it would have been.
That's,
So but they're
things
paying.
don't happen like that, Christie.
Yeah, but
So,
you have a
you know,
responsibility.
So we were riding around for 3 or 4 days walking the lines looking for leaks. And the majority of it was in Houston Township.
I think in the future, if they're aware of the leak they have,
That's,
I'd say tell them to, please let us know, so we're
and
aware.
I did say that, whether or not they will, that's another story.
Can you get an instantaneous flow reading up there where it goes into Houston Township? I mean, looking at the meters, would that give you?
Yeah, looking at the meter, the usage was up. In fact, he said the bill was $6,000 or $7,000 more this time around.
Well, when you go up there to look at other things, can you just look at the meter and see what it is?
Yeah, but it wasn't showing as much as we thought they were losing. Turned out it was showing more.
I mean, is there merit to writing down what the totalizer says on the meter every day?
We do that every day down there. We keep the daily running of what the meter is. But
You thought you'd seen it.
some days it's only up 5,000 gallons. Other days it's up 25,000, 30,000. It's not consistent. It doesn't stay at one level reading all the time. I think once your tank's top off, so leaks out and it feeds it more. So it might take a week to catch it. Hey, they used 50,000 gallons in the past 7 days. It's just
Who did you talk to, Eric?
Carney.
Carney?
Yeah.
I think we ought to send something maybe in writing, document, other than verbal, they're aware of it. But now
Yeah,
you said
he
it
said-
might take them a month.
Yeah, they said you're looking at sometime here within the next month or so, get somebody in here to fix it. He said he's aware, there's a leak. They didn't know that.
Paying for the
Go through the
That's
meeting.
more roof.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was a little concerned if Mel would send that bill, but then when Eric said they had a leak, I'm thinking, oh, okay, then I've been getting phone calls from them. After a while.
I think it would be good, Mike, just to send them a letter to tell them, that, you know, if we understand you were aware you had a leak, we
He
would
said,
appreciate,
Connie knows, but does the rest of the board know?
we would appreciate your letting us know when you have a leak.
Yeah,
City of West Pine, we're trying to locate one in our area.
I make a motion, we send them a letter to that effect.
I'll second.
yeah, they're having problems, they need a licensed operator out there so they can fix the lines. They
Yeah.
can't fix the lines, so they get a licensed operator on board, so I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, they just had that in the paper, I guess, over the weekend.
Have a couple extra hours.
Yeah, I had a question too on the
He has
basins.
states all of them.
Okay, we had a second.
Rick Gordon.
Okay, all in favor?
Uh,
Motion carries.
On the basins, I mean, if you, I know there's a report to DEP back in 2004 where they had planned on flushing those basins every 2 to 3 years into the sewer line. Here you're saying you're getting prices to clean them out. What's the ultimate plan there?
Well, we got the far end where the pumps are at, we got those cleaned out, enough where we're not getting any sludge out of them. But the ultimate goal is to get everything cleaned out as quickly as possible. The rest of it, when it gets warm out and not frozen over.
But are you gonna have a sludge hauler come in and pump it out, or are you going to
That's what
flush it
we're
down
looking to
to
do,
the
is
sewer?
get Burix in there and see what we can get out and clean it up.
So you aren't gonna try and flush it into the wastewater system?
As of right now, probably not.
Because I mean, yeah, I don't know the mechanics of it, but cost-wise, it might be cheaper, even if you have to pay the sewer authority something.
That's something we're gonna have to work out, or
Yeah, there's a lot of mud in there right now. It's about 6, 7 inches of mud.
I
last
think-
time I looked.
I think what we had originally talked about,
It's bad for your grinder pumps too, to push that sand.
yeah, is to have Burek come in,
you're right.
clean them out, and then get into a routine of washing the lagoons out and then sending that down to the sewer authority. It was a smaller amount, wasn't that
Okay,
the way it was talked in?
Yeah, we try to do that in the fall, you know, right before it gets cold, and that way you get through the winter with it the way it is. Because we cut our pack doses way down in the winter too. So it won't fill up by spring, and then you got the whole summer to look at it, and then if it gets a little deep, then through the summer months you clean it, and then once more right before winter.
Yeah.
And if you do that twice a year, you probably push it right to the storage, it'd be no problem at all, but now it's like, that's gonna look like 7, 8 inches of look like sand in there, muck.
Well, that was going, all of that, I don't know for how many ever years, that was all going to the sewage plant anyway.
Yeah, there was never that much dirt in there.
Yeah, it's always been, ever since I started, there's always been a layer on the bottom like that.
There's a lot in there, you know, I mean, there's a lot to push through the ground.
Well, no, I wouldn't recommend pushing that all through. I think we talked about having it sucked out and.
We actually had Burix lined up when they scheduled to do it. After the first of the year, it actually had that cold spell and the basins have froze ever since.
Yeah.
I mean, that DEP report that I read, as I recall, it said that they would flush that into the sewer system every 2 to 3 years. So there had to be a fair amount going in, and I think didn't Chad clean that out?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of
Yeah.
when we did that, because we
So
took
that
that
was-
down by the Sportsman.
Yeah, that was a land, yeah, I heard
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, we were allowed to at that time, Bob.
Well, we looked it up in 2008 when we did it.
Yeah, we were actually. I don't know.
They give
What's
you
this
that
we
old
way?
This is an editorial week.
Might not be enough in that money to do that.
Yeah.
You might be able to do that.
Yeah, I think the best thing is to have Burek come in,
And we'll keep
he
up.
gives us the bill and he takes it with him.
You get the majority of the water on just that sludge, it's not gonna be that.
Yeah. All right, one question on the loggers.
Yes.
Okay, have they ceased operation over there?
No, they actually built the road up about 7 feet and they're keeping it maintained. And he said he's just about done with the logs, and when he does, he's gonna put it back to normal. Take all that fill all.
They'll be out of there in a short period of
They're gonna be
time.
done dragging trees over it. And as far as cleaning up, I have no idea. He said he's just about done dragging over the line. And he'll remove everything and they put it back the way it was first started.
Okay, we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Well, they had a mess over it.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, is the township's watching too?
Oh, yeah, I didn't even know they had the right to throw in trees on the property like they did. Went over
Yeah.
there and they had them almost all the way up to the building.
I think they were just going with squatters' rights
I
there.
have a question for Ed, can you make a logger like that, post a bond if they cross your distribution line? You familiar with any situations like that?
If you have a maintenance easement, and they're crossing it, yeah, you can.
So, you know, this is kind of water under the bridge, but maybe in the future, you might want to consider that.
All right. Anything else on the maintenance? Okay, we'll go to the operators report.
All right, we withdrew 9,720,000 gallons. That's the number that's been up because of the leak. We treated 9,460,000. 6,180,000 gallons went to the distribution. We had that meter recalibrated, so we're hoping that number's going to get a little better. The filter backwash was 212,000, and the plant operated for 615.3 hours. At one point there, we were up to 21 hours a day, so we only had about 3 hours left, so that was before some of those leaks were fixed. We're getting 3 to 4 days out of the filter backwashes. Monthly report and the dweller reports were sent on 2/7/12. CJ performed maintenance on the chlorine analyzer and chemical feed equipment. He provided training to Eric Johnson, monitored and recorded the daily run hours of sewage discharge pumps, 467 and 388. CJ worked with Glenn Cowles to locate water leaks. Chlorine pressure pump failure, which Eric talked about, already required on-site monitoring of plant. I think we had about 7 or 8 hours there. We began the discharging from the backwash lagoons to the stream as per the NPDES permit, and we had a meeting with Gibson Thomas to review the progress of the consent order.
You want to handle the engineering report?
As part of the J Township COA, we were provided with monthly progress report for activities in the month of January. The J Township plant personnel continue to optimize the treatment at the facility. Comments in regards to the PWS amendment application for the change in hydrochloride submitted to the DEP along with the requested change in the application for the additional sodium bicarbonate. The authority is currently procuring funding for the improvement projects related to the chlorination and SCADA improvements.
You know, this engineer's report is a little disappointing to me because we sat down, we talked with those guys about, Ed was there, I was there, Peggy was there, about what we viewed as concerns with their approach there. I know I talked to them about the SCADA system, Ed talked to them about chlorine, as well as the backup controls for the filters out there, and there's not one mention of that in here. Is he just going to forget that stuff? Because I think a lot of it was very important. And to me, it's disappointing that that wasn't integrated into this engineer's report. I don't know how these other guys feel, but that's the way I feel. Did I waste my time? I mean, you're going to have a workshop in the near future.
That's exactly it. We're going to.
I think they've got to be held accountable for some of this stuff.
We're going to be able to ask a lot of questions, get a lot of answers, Bob, and I hope you find the time to come to that.
Okay, well, let's see. I'll try to.
I do too, because you have a lot of knowledge about that plant and this distribution system. We'd appreciate it. You would have some input in it.
Yeah, I'll try and make it. I should be able to.
Now we can move on to old business. Okay, the consent order.
We're coming along with that. Consent order update, you guys?
Last last we spoke with Peter was last week, I believe, and he said that he's waiting on a permit to start the new construction, which will be coming anytime now. So that's all I got on the quartering and the rest of the building maintenance on that. That's all he said.
And we're pretty much in our time frame.
Yeah, everything's on track.
That's,
Slightly ahead, I think he said,
yeah.
slightly ahead.
So as soon as we get that permit, we can secure some funding to start switching out the chlorine over the side mixer.
So was the letter that it's January 19th, was that another letter sent making those corrections? Did we?
That's the one we talked about today.
Yeah, because that was that one you just handed me. It was the
Oh, that
January
one.
19th. And it says here that the report was rejected because the specific items weren't mentioned for the chlorine. There's some other things missing. And the revised report shall be submitted in duplicate to the department for review no later than April 2nd. So the permit, I don't know what permit would be.
Yeah, right.
Construction permit to go ahead and start.
And then this was the response, wasn't it? Yeah. So I think he
Good.
kind of took care of that.
No, I'd have to read over that again.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how that was.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was kind of vague and,
He didn't set specific dates, as I recall.
yeah.
Did I give you a copy of this one from FedEx, Ed? The one that stated January 20th?
Yeah.
You have a copy of that one?
Yeah, I have that.
And I don't think he was definitive enough on the solution to some of the
It
problems.
says here modules 4, 8, and 12 have been amended with the necessary information. Do you want me to get you copies of both these, Paul? So you can read them?
I might have to pay for it. I don't think so.
I can email them to you, probably.
Okay, you know, I don't want to pay for it.
I'll email it to you, I guess.
All right. How about an employee evaluation form?
Yeah, I gave copies of the single one that Christine wanted everybody to look at.
Yeah. I think this, if we were going to adopt one, this one would be satisfactory. Do we need a motion on that?
If everybody agrees it.
Yeah.
Approve it. Make it part of our job description.
Is that how you want to, you would like to have that listed, Christine, as part of the job description,
Pay schedule.
pay schedule in that group?
It really has to do with your performance, your annual performance review, you know, before you decide if you're gonna give them a raise. And this is something the employee would complete before you do that.
Yeah. Well, could we make a certain period of the year where we would hand these to them?
I think it covers the whole year, evaluation period would be from
Right, but-
1 year to the next.
Right, but the idea is, maybe we would have that filled out by the employees, handed in prior to any raises being handed
Yeah,
out.
like maybe October,
Right.
something like that, yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Okay, why don't we do that?
What do the rest of your board members think?
I think it's a good idea.
Okay, great. We'll have a motion to put into effect the self-evaluation for our employees.
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
1 second.
All in favor? Motion carried.
You done?
Oh,
How
just
many
6
months?
months.
For 4
Sometimes,
days.
sometimes, Christie, you really have to push it down the throat.
I'll type that out better this time.
Yeah, that's fine, great. Thanks for your persistence, Christine.
Well, I'm more interested in like Eric's thoughts.
Right,
May not wanna know.
You know, when it's done, when your training that you think you'd like to have, and the goals of the planet, things you'd like to see accomplished.
all right. Invest one funding for the skate upgrades. This is to be, I think this will follow with the meeting or the workshop.
With Gibson Thomas.
Gibson Thomas, we'll have a better idea of what amount of money we're looking at.
Then we'll eventually, we'll have to contact Invest to meet with them to see what steps we have to follow.
Yeah.
But after
As
the
soon as
workshop,
we have the workshop, we'll get on that right away. Okay, this CDBG survey.
Christina and I've been working on that. I have the letter for you to sign. It's already been approved. You just need to
I
sign
have
it.
a copy of that.
And we're giving them until March the 10th to have their surveys back to Tracy. And Christine and I are going to be getting surveys ready. We want to have them mailed out by the 28th, I think, by Monday. Well, no, Tuesday, because Monday's a holiday. We changed it to the next day.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's given them 2 weeks. I think if we give them any longer, it's gonna get lost on the covered
Yeah.
top, you know?
I think you're absolutely right,
2
Christine.
weeks is plenty of time.
Yeah, you'll say, well, I'll put it here and I'll get to it.
Yeah.
So we're planning on sending 400 out just to make sure we
Get it out.
follow that.
Yeah. Okay, part-time office employee, we'll just put that on the back burner, yeah. Okay, moving the meter remotes.
I'm still waiting for the list from the sewage authority.
I think we'll get that, yeah, we'll get that before the next meeting, and, yeah, that way we can maybe get those moving before the next meter reads. Okay, moving the main line, water line in Caledonia.
I'm still waiting.
We haven't heard
Nothing.
nothing yet, so.
I'm
So-
still waiting to get the diagram from you guys on what you want them to do.
Yeah, we have it, I gotta finish it. I'll get it there.
I mean, it doesn't look like
It's not
it's
gonna be
anything real important,
No,
you know,
we haven't even heard from them, have we?
No,
no. But it's gonna be one of those things,
spring's here now.
when the weather breaks, you know, they're gonna want it like yesterday. So, we'll get that up and running before the next meeting also.
Alright.
Okay. Number 8, letter to the sewage concerning the MPDES permit.
I don't remember.
I think maybe I asked to put that on there.
Okay. I don't remember.
I think we should officially send them a letter and give the date our NPDES permit was approved, and that we already started to discharge. There was a date there, I think it was the middle of January,
Yeah.
to the Kersey Run. So we'll no longer be sending anything to them. And also we said in the event that there would be a circumstance that we would need to send some of it to the sewage treatment plant, we would notify them first.
Notify them and then also.
So there's no, you know, you didn't let me know or whatever. I think we should officially send them that letter.
Yeah, I'm doing it now, talking to you about that.
Okay.
And I'd like to see a copy go to the supervisors for their information. So I'll make a motion that we send this informative letter to the sewage treatment authority, just as an update on our NPDES permit.
Okay, do I have somebody to second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Steve been on?
Yeah, he said he will obtain his insurance, and his rate will go up to $38, and his hourly wage also on that. So whatever his hourly wage is plus 38,
As need basis, he knows it's gonna be as need basis.
yes, as need basis. And if it's something that his backhoe can't handle, or we'll get the township.
Okay, any discussion on that?
38 for the backhoe, one for the wage.
I
don't know,
think
when does it
For
pay?
myself, I
don't
think
know.
there's,
I'll,
I'm sorry, am I
Go ahead.
interrupting something?
go ahead.
We certainly had a lot of discussion on this, and I'm still not comfortable with it, and I feel, this was something, the main reason that we got into the controversy was it wasn't bid out. So I still feel that's the way to go. And we're still supposed to be using the township. I mean, if we have some work that we can schedule ahead, we still have that agreement with the township, and to use their
What's the rate on the township backhoe?
I think it's $39 plus
Plus the guy.
whichever employee is out there. I just paid them, sent them out. I paid them today, I was looking at.
There's a whole list here, whatever it costs.
Yeah.
You wanna take that?
Yeah, I don't think that this is the dollar amount is the issue as much as the size of the backhoe for the job. There's some times where the small piece of equipment saves a lot of work. You can't get like the water line break there on Jefferson.
Yeah.
That would have been an ideal piece of equipment to get in there between the houses. Everything's pretty close over there. And the other thing is for a lot of the cosmetic work. And the thing is, it's the time involved. There's some days when the employees maybe have a couple extra hours where they could do a dress-up job, and they might have to wait and put that off or waste that time to do, not to do it, because they'd have to get the township back up and let them know ahead of time. That's the reason I think, one that's readily available. I think we should keep, I myself would like to see that auction open. And with Steve having, or whoever would have the backhoe, would have all the necessary insurance. And we only have to use them on an as-need basis, we're not obligated. So, I myself, I think it's a benefit to the water authority.
My question I have about that is if we're using him basically as a subcontractor, why are we still gonna pay him his hourly wage on top of it?
Because he's doing it during his regular
I
working
understand
hours.
that, but you're hiring him as a subcontractor.
We're releasing his backhoe.
Yeah.
So technically, he's still gonna, if he does something, he's working for you at the time, so you're still gonna be paying liability whenever he's out there, because you're paying him to do that.
Yeah,
Because under an hour.
there's some gray areas, there's no doubt about that.
Because if he's on his machine, just say for an hour straight digging a 20-foot ditch, never gets off the machine, should we pay him?
Yeah, I just think there's, like I said, a little bit of gray area there.
Yeah,
Because
some
most
of it's-
places you don't necessarily pay, if they're charging $60 an hour, you're not paying for an operator on top of it. You know what I'm saying, where the township is a little bit differently, that they want 39 for their backhoe, plus you gotta pay their wage, so that works out to be probably somewhere in the range of like $55 an hour, give or take.
That's pretty much set by the state though, isn't it?
So you know what I mean, I'm just,
Yeah.
that's the only concern that I have, is you're paying an hourly wage plus paying his rate for his backhoe. I'd rather prefer seeing it's gonna be X amount and we're not paying an hourly rate, just my opinion.
Yeah.
Because that way, it'd just be easier if you're not paying him a wage. Plus paying for his backhoe.
isn't there some other things in there too that we pay for in the township? It's not $50, you can say it was like $70 an hour, you pay for the guy, their insurance, or,
But, whenever we use them, we pay for the employee, and we pay him his regular wages, plus they're calculating in how much workers' comp. So he may be getting $12 an hour, but we're actually paying like $18 an hour, because they have calculated in his workers' comp and everything on that, on top of, the backhoe cost.
That's the only, but that's like they're saying, the only thing I see is when he's on that backhoe, he's still under your liability. You know, because he's under, now, if he gets off of that salary rate, and then he's just on his own liability.
well,
I said there was some gray areas there.
I don't have a problem with Steve doing it, because I understand the size of the backhoe and being able to do it, it's just, I think it needs to be reworded just a little bit differently, because just my personal opinion, we shouldn't be paying him an hourly wage plus for paying for that. That's just my personal opinion.
Would it be more comfortable if he just did it as a contractor when that's on a as-needed basis for just say for instance, whatever he would come up with, say $55 an hour, and then he would just be a contract worker for that period of time.
I'd feel more comfortable that way. That's just my personal opinion, I'd feel more comfortable that way. Even though it's gonna be, it's gonna work out to the same amount roughly, but I just think it would be better for the authority to have it that way. Because that way you're not showing, I'm gonna say favoritism to that employee, but if he needs to use it, then it's all, or if on the collect with his backhoe.
Okay. So it'd be like he say, I'm gonna charge you $49.85 an hour for the backhoe, and then he would sign out as far as the employee goes, do the work, and then when they're done with it, he'll sign back in at his regular $11.85. So I know how to write it up.
That's how I feel it should be.
Yeah, but you also have to remember that when he is a contract worker, he sits on that machine. A lot of times it's a two-man job, you let the machine go and you get off and you do manual work. And Eric isn't gonna have anybody to do that if he's just gonna be a contract worker and sit on the seat. We've had that for years.
You're gonna have a representative going to a session with the experts, maybe Vicki could ask some questions about the issue down there and see how other authorities deal with the matter.
Why don't we put that down, and that would be an excellent question, thanks, Bob. And on the other hand, we could also run it by Steve, how he feels as to going the other route.
I would suggest you give Vicki all that material we had before, that we went round and round with the attorney about questions that we didn't really get answers for.
Very good. Maybe we can put this to rest. Get it off
Get
of-
some more info,
Yeah. Okay, under new business. Okay, the dues for the PMAA 2012, $473.25 a year. And you wanna, we've
use that.
enrolled in this for
Yeah, ever since 2008.
2008, it's been valuable to you. Okay. Have a motion to pay the dues for 2012 at the rate of $473.25.
I'm gonna name A stand for.
Pennsylvania Municipal Authorities Association.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I have to do an audit, usually the end of December or 1st of January, they send me an audit that I have to do. And I feel it has to do with employees, salaries, base what authority decides would need to pay for the dirt.
Did I have a,
I'll make the motion to
do I have a
table.
second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried, thank you. All right, then we'll go to the St. Mary's Insurance for a statement of values for 2012.
Now, we don't carry the fire hydrants on the statement of values. If we want to have them insured, it needs to be picked up underneath the marina,
And
policy. So it doesn't really have anything to do with the statement of values?
did they give you a,
No, we
Premium
don't, if
rate.
we wanted, no, because I was just asking them about the statement of values, I didn't ask them if we wanted to keep, I didn't know if you guys wanted to cover all our insurance or not. But I can get a quote for next meeting if you want it covered.
why don't we do that? Why don't we get a quote and then we can have some conversation on it. All right, number three.
Do you want to,
Go ahead, sorry.
approve signing the statement of values?
Oh, yes, I have a motion to approve the statement of values for 2012.
Motion.
I have a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. All right, then now we'll have a workshop for funding with Gibbs and Thomas and CME. It'd be on March 28th at 6 PM here at the Township Building.
March 28th.
28th.
Yeah, we threw out a couple dates last meeting of March 1st or March 28th. March 1st, there's already a workshop scheduled with source water protection and EQT at that point. And I called and checked with Ed, and I checked with Gibson Thomas, and March 28th is good for them,
And what time is that?
6 PM. So I'll need to advertise that.
Mhm.
So I need approval to advertise that.
Okay, do I have a motion to advertise this workshop with Gibson Thomas and CME on March 28th, 2012?
I'll make the motion.
Could I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Motion carried, Peg. All right, now, number 4, a workshop with the sewage authority. Do you want to explain that, Kristen?
Well, I understand there's been a problem with the sewage authority taking their turn to read the monitors. Eric, were they all read the last time?
Oh, we had to go out and read 94 of them.
Why is that? 'Cause we went back and read that, and now we haven't read it.
You had 138 to read that day, and then they come back, there was 94.
But where they're not reading, it's not that we're getting read.
8 of them didn't read.
Well, I know, yeah, but I know we read them. We went to where they're at, Caledonia again. We went and did the whole Caledonia line again.
There was, Smith Hill Road there's a few on Smith Hill, there was some on the River Road. Down by the Caledonia Church, there's a couple houses down that way.
Yeah, 'cause we went back and did that on River Road. When you said
You
it was.
guys missed the whole area up there at Cohen's residence, those 3 up there.
Where was that?
Is that Dogwood Avenue or Cohen is? I think that's Dogwood, up above the trailers by B&D.
Raleigh Cogan's area, on
Yeah.
Stoker's over area.
We did all that, 'cause I went up and did that. So the guns are having a problem here. No, seriously, I went up to Cogan's because I did them 2 houses here and he's the other house, and the house is not reading when it's off.
There's one not reading, the rest of them
One
weren't
is,
read.
the rest of them should have.
There was several fours that needed to be read. It ended up being like total, there's 98, I think, or
There shouldn't
something.
be, there's something going on with them guns.
Well,
How
there's
many did you
something
say, Eric, where you had to
There
go
was
back and
98.
reread?
And and I think 8 of them didn't read.
Yeah, we had a bunch of it didn't read, I know, and we have it written down, but, we went back to back to Caledonia on River Road because we come up that one day, and he said there was 90-some or 80-some, and that ain't, they're not ready.
We just
What
had
read
all
it,
that
they worked.
repair work done, didn't we?
They were, he said it worked. Very good.
Eric went and read
Steve
it.
and I went out and hit them all again, and
Yeah, I don't know why, because,
they
2
worked.
or 3 days, there was 2 days that when we come back down, they weren't reading. Remember when we went to your house, we had to go out to his house and check, and they weren't reading. Then they had to put it back in, remember when we was at your house? Because we started reading and they wouldn't show up on the jump. Then we went back to Eric on that Saturday.
That was the downloading part, we had to download them from the other gun onto the machine.
But they're not reading right. I'm serious, it's not
All
that
right,
right.
let's send a letter to the sewer authority
Check it,
and,
because I know we read the.
tell them we would like to have a
Hold
work.
on, excuse me, John. Fran, John is talking, you may want
Yeah, go ahead.
to hear what he's saying.
Yeah, we'll send a letter to the sewer authority stating that we would like to have a workshop,
Yeah, that's the best thing.
and, we will wait for a date.
If you guys even want to set up a date and just give us a call or give Debbie a call down here and we can say okay to it or something like that.
Well, why don't we pick 2 days,
Yeah.
and,
That's
we'll
fine.
give you 2
Yeah.
dates, and I think that way we'll be
Yeah,
able
we need
to.
a work day on that anyways for the, the backwash. We should have an agreement on that.
No,
Supposed
the
to be
only
years
thing
ago.
that we want to meet about is
The meter
reading
reads.
the
Yeah,
meter monitors. That's all we'll be discussing at the workshop, nothing else.
well, they're gonna wanna discuss the other part.
Well, we can't because it's a public workshop and she's gonna indicate that this is just to talk about the
Yeah,
meter
that's fine.
monitors.
I
So
mean, that's
according
fine.
to the sunshine law, we cannot talk about anything else.
Okay. We'll pick out a couple of days.
Just pick out a couple of days and I can even throw it on the phone. Be okay with it.
Okay, it looks like, there's nothing for Thursday the 23rd, Friday the 24th. Wednesday the 29th. And then we have to go into March. And Mondays will be Girl Scouts. And of course, the first Wednesday is a sewer, which would be the 7th.
So we, what,
And the
it was
first,
February or March now, you're back in this.
we're in March now,
Well, let's try to do it in February.
okay?
That way we'll have it taken care of before our next meeting.
Okay, now we tried Ash, nobody wanted to have it on Ash Wednesday,
Right.
which is the 22nd. So the 23rd and the 24th, and it looks like the 29th, one of those 3. But we also have a meeting on the 1st, and we have a meeting on the 28th. The 28th is the workshop for our funding, and then the 1st is the water protection and EQT.
Did you say the 23rd, which is a Thursday?
Yeah, 1, 2, okay, yeah, well, I was looking for township meeting.
Now, is that meeting for funding, is that March 28th or February 28th?
It's February 28th.
Yeah, so we stated March.
Yeah.
Say March.
Huh?
Yeah.
You said March.
You said March 28th workshop for funding with Gibson Thompson.
Oh, okay, so she has it, she put down here for February.
It is March though.
Okay,
Yeah, it's-
okay, because she has, I'm reading what she has on here, so, okay, so I had to put the wrong date on, okay. That's March 28th, so, okay, then the 28th of February is okay. So we have 23rd, 24th, 28th, and 29th.
Is there anything on the 28th of March, Peg? You better make sure she put it in.
I don't, oh, wait a
Okay.
minute. Oh, 28th, no.
Better write it in so you got it.
See, my my records that I took from that day we talked to Peter was February 28th or March 1st.
Yeah, March is a whole month.
Yeah, I thought he said February 28th and or March 1st.
Actually, that's what I thought, I think you said too.
You think we could double check that, Peggy?
Okay, yeah, 'cause I was thinking March 28th, February 28th.
No, I thought he said February. Yeah,
February
February
28th.
28th, not March.
Yeah, I think.
Alright, because March just seemed like a long ways away.
Yeah.
He said
Okay,
either the 1st of March or the 20th of February is what he said.
okay, yeah, because March 1st
Okay.
wasn't good. Alright, I must have March 1st wrong on that then.
Yeah.
It was just
So we can look at February 23 for this sewage and water workshop.
Yep.
And what was another date there?
The 24th, and the 24th is a Friday, and the 29th is a Wednesday.
How about we try for Thursday and Wednesday, Friday,
The
Thursday?
23rd
Yeah,
and
Fridays are
29th.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
28th, Peg?
The 28th is with,
That's with
Peter
Gibson,
Thomas.
me
Gibson
and
Thomas,
Peter and
okay.
probably.
Yeah.
yeah, I think he's right, because I remember I was checking the first wasn't good.
Yeah.
But, yeah, those
Okay,
two
so
we're gonna
it's,
do
I have
Ash
it wrong
Wednesday,
on your list there, it should be February 28th. Because I know I called Debbie, and she marked it on the calendar right when I was talking to her.
Yeah, because he said, how about it that Wednesday, and Christine said that was last Wednesday,
Yeah.
she could make it.
The next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'll check with Debbie, and she can check with the sewage for the 23rd or the 29th,
It was 6 PM.
6 p.m. Yeah.
And if by some chance those two dates are not good for them, tell them to give us 2 dates.
Okay.
Yeah.
But make
And,
it very clear that the purpose is only because
Yeah.
the one item.
Yeah, because I'll have to advertise it.
And
Yeah.
try to have as many
Yeah,
available as you can from the
yeah,
board.
I'll call them up.
Yeah.
I'll update you.
Okay.
Okay, 23rd or the 29th. Okay.
Okay. PA Rural Water Agreement?
Yeah, that's, $240 a year. They are invaluable. Peter Cowles comes up here constantly and helps us find leaks and stuff.
Yeah, I remember from the past.
Yep.
Okay, we need a motion on that then.
Does that include the 240 when he comes up? Do we pay an extra when he
Oh,
comes
no,
up?
it's all free. Everything with payroll water is free to us.
Just for belonging to it?
Yeah, and then a lot of the conferences and training, we get a discount because we're members. So, yeah, it's really good.
Okay, have a motion to pay the $240 for a PA Rural Water Agreement for 2012.
I'll make the motion.
Could I have somebody second it?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Number 5, bank loan.
I have an appointment with Leo Cabaja with First Commonwealth next Tuesday morning. He told me some information he needed me to get, so I have gotten that information to give to First Commonwealth. I talked to Northwest Savings in St. Mary's today, to a commercial loan officer up there. He had a couple questions he needed some answers for, and then I'll email him tomorrow morning and he'll come up with a quote. He wanted to know if, what kind of term, I told him it was about $105,000, and he wanted to know what kind of term we were looking at. He wanted to know if we're planning on getting a Penvest loan within the next 6 months to a year. Would we want a time note where we paid the interest, and then we got the loan from Penvest, we would pay it off? Or if it's gonna be longer than 6 months or a year, do we want to go with a regular monthly loan with monthly payment and everything, and he would need to know the term, whatever information we can give him so he can work it into the quote.
I'm not sure if the new members understand where we're going for this
Okay.
loan. We had wanted to do this this SCADA computer system, we were hoping to tie all that in to the Penvest loan. But we're having so much trouble, when that system goes down, then they have to operate the plant manually, and it costs us megabucks. So we would think, I think most of this was supposed to be so we could do the SCADA, wasn't it? This loan, we thought maybe we'd better try and get this loan and do it instead of waiting another 6-8 months a year for the Penvest loan to come through. So that's why we're gonna try.
That $105,000 also includes the consent order of the static mixer and switching from gas chlorine to liquid chlorine as well. Two things done out of the road.
Any questions?
Okay, if you want to go with the term, what kind of term are you talking about?
I'm not sure that we could secure a Penvest loan within a year.
We don't know, because we're just getting started
Yeah, I
on
mean, these
that.
are all questions that everything hinges on.
Do you want to go 2 to 3 years then, like 36, 48 months,
I would say 24 months.
24?
We should have a Penvest loan secure, we have to have it secured in
I
24.
hope it's sooner than that.
Yeah,
Okay. And so you're not interested in the time note then, you just want to go
I
with
don't
24
think that
months?
would,
Okay.
because if it's only 4 to 6 months to a year, that would push it.
Okay.
They won't penalize us if it's paid early then.
Yeah, usually not, but I'll check on the commercial
Yeah, we
loan.
did.
In fact, I told him that if we went with this, with the term, and as soon as we got the Penvest loan, we would be paying it off early, but I'm not sure.
You know what, the question I had after we had talked about this, I don't know if we apply for this money, it will be something we have already done. So I don't know if Penvest will give us a loan or something like that. Like I say, I don't know, I've never been involved in the Penvest loan.
I agree, you better call Penvest and find out, because
I don't know.
some of these applications, they ask you, is there any other source of funding, and you're gonna have to answer yes if you got a loan.
Because the CDBG,
Yeah.
you can't do a
Yeah.
project and then be reimbursed. I didn't think about that when we were talking about it, I thought about it later.
Yeah, well, let's find out anyway as to what this
The loan,
would be for us to secure this loan.
Now, did somebody say Peter would be doing most of the legwork for this Penvest loan? Maybe when he's here, we can ask him like time frame, and when can he start on maybe working on this application? Maybe get that going this year too.
hey, could you call that gentleman in Penvest?
Mhm.
How about if you ask him that question and see what he says?
Okay, yep,
Tell him what we're thinking of doing.
okay. Yep, sure will.
Now, Leo from
Leo.
First Commonwealth, he just needs some
Yeah, he was asking
background
for,
information.
yeah, he was asking for financial statements and everything, which I told him I couldn't have them for 2011 other than QuickBooks, and he said I could give him my financial statements through QuickBooks, and he could just start looking at that.
All right, we'll move along to number 6 here, EQT, leasing property and buying water. Eric?
Right.
You have some information on that?
Representative from EQT stopped in about 2 weeks ago. They were leasing property up around the Burndale tank. And he said he was there to inquire about our acre of property up there. He didn't get into any specifics. He's supposed to come to the next month's meeting. And the subject about buying water off of us came up again. He said they're always looking to buy and they're going to be possibly drilling up there. Maybe we can come to some kind of an agreement with them buying water as well.
I heard EQT already got permission, and the Susquehanna thing, is that true? I mean, I heard that through the
permit's
grapevine.
already here. That's what that new permit's for this, there's a permit just come in for them to
Down
pump
the
that,
little house there someplace.
put that pipeline in. They're gonna put that pipeline all the way across Mount Zion, all the way across the other one.
So I wonder if they're still interested in our,
But I
And
know,
they secured that through the Susquehanna River Basin.
yeah, that's what that letter I just got was just yesterday, I just
4
got.
million gallon a day or something.
Yeah, they're supposed to pump it up, pump it all the way across to the one that's gonna be up by the old dump up there. Yeah, Bloom's camp, supposed to be a well in there.
Could you give us a copy of that letter?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll make sure you get a copy of that letter.
Must do that very well.
Yeah. Be friends with the governor.
Yes, for sure.
All right, rules and regulation amendments for remotes and customer lateral line breaks.
Yeah.
I think the first part, I'm going to suggest, it's on these meter monitors. I mean, you're making up a list of the ones that are hard to find, and we're not
Hard to find
making
and not
them,
working.
we had discussed, we're not gonna make them move them, but you need a list for who's ever reading the monitors or where they are, since they're so hard to find, but I suggest we change, there's a couple places in our regulation where it suggests they put it close to the electric box. There's the one section here, the remote readout is to be installed outside of the building in an easily accessible location, preferably near the electric meter, from 3 to 5 feet above the ground. And then there's another place that basically says the same thing. That's where it should be, but I suggest we change the shoulds to it must be. Everybody's grandfathered, but from the date we would approve this, should it be tonight, from here on, any new ones must be installed next to the electric, near the electric box outside. I think it'll make it a lot easier. I noticed in St. Mary's, that's where they are.
Wouldn't be a bad idea, instead of just going from one to one, just send everybody a letter stating, just make a copy and everybody get a letter that we would appreciate if they would put them all by it with electric bits, because they're not hard to change, they're not hard to move.
Well, we had talked about this and we decided, like I say, grandfather everybody now. We thought that'd be too much. But from here on out, everybody should have to put it there. So
When somebody obtains a water service,
right,
that's part of the regulations that they have to abide by.
and I think it's very reasonable.
Especially on a new bill.
Does the board feel like you'd want to do that, or does someone have a problem with it?
No, I think that's a good idea.
Now, I just found those, I didn't read through all the regs, okay? But I found those two places quick. I don't know if it's mentioned anywhere else, but I make a motion that we grandfather the people to leave their meter monitors where they are now, but in the future, any new connections, they're required to put their meter monitor near their outside electric box for easy reading.
Well, if you're going that far, Christine, why don't we put, give them an area to put it in, so far away from it, that way you're sure.
How do you,
Like within a 5-foot radius of the
yes,
meter, the electrical entrance,
that's fine.
yeah. That way it's close, you can't miss it.
Yeah.
Who tried to second?
I'll
Yeah,
second that motion.
okay. All in favor? Motion carried. Okay, now the customer lateral line 15-day rule just wasn't gonna work on the customer's lateral, because it was just wasting so much of the water. And it was, if we would have, how did that, was that repaired?
Yes, it was repaired.
Okay,
Actually, Chad and Keith fixed it.
okay. But Eric had to shut it off because number one, it was wasting a lot of water, and number two, it was a safety issue. It was running down close to the road. I think we need to rethink this 15 days. That's an awful long period of time and a lot of wasted water.
Didn't we ask the attorney what we should do here?
We were going to run that by as far as just shutting them off.
Yeah.
Did you get a response back?
No, I didn't actually. No.
Okay, then why don't we'll put that, we'll put that on for next month after we get the response from the solicitor.
I think I called Tom, but I don't remember what it was, I don't know if it was about that or about something else.
Is he in, Tom?
Tom Wagner?
Is he back? He was on vacation.
Oh, alright. I actually talked to him once.
Oh,
Okay, but I'll call him, ask him about canceling off. Until, I'll see if we can't.
He said, can't we come up with a time period, is that legal?
but the thing is, too, like Eric went over, you just shut it down. And, we're just not sure how, if you're legally allowed to do that.
We do have a couple sections in here. Like I say, we don't look at these regulations every day. But where there's a leak here, the authority will make a reasonable effort to notify any customer whose service will be discontinued. The notice shall be in writing and shall be presented in person, blah, blah, blah. In case of emergencies, the authority may discontinue service without notice. However, you have to make sure that there isn't somebody sick or aged or incompetent in the house before you do that. So, here, this was where we have this under discontinuance of service, but that could be when there's a leak too. In the best of all worlds, you want them to repair their leak as soon as possible, but if you remember, some of you members that were on the authority last year, we had that problem down in Weedville with a customer, remember?
Yeah.
That's why we amended this one section here, that we would not go in and make any repairs to their lateral because of the liability involved of going on their property and doing work. That's why we changed that last year. And then that customer, they agreed verbally to pay for the cost. That time we did go ahead and repair it because the neighbor, there was no shut off or something, and the neighbors didn't have water too.
Yeah, Richard.
So anyway, it was repaired, but then they didn't pay for that cost right away. Penn had to bug them.
Well, I had to end up adding it to the water bill.
Well,
That's why we
that was the other thing.
changed
Can
it.
we do that?
That was the main.
Did you ever
thing.
notice, Christine, nothing's ever simple. There's always complications.
Do you find anything simple today? Just a simple mistake on your telephone bill. It takes to get it corrected.
Okay, yeah, I'll call Todd.
But that's when we decided, there's too much liability for us to go on their property and repair their lateral when they won't do it.
Because we don't have a right of way to do that.
No, so let's see what the attorney says
Okay, I'll call
first.
Tom tomorrow. Okay.
All right, you have that down.
see if I can find it here now. Had sent me an email about USDA. He sent me a contact person to contact about looking for possible grant money. And when we did it. Okay. See, her name, it's the Augusta Fire and Safety Services.
That's where I'm.
Okay, this is rural development.
Yes.
Okay, this is Mary Beth. How do you pronounce her name?
Janone, I believe.
Janone, area specialist for rural development. She said that she can talk to us and discuss what J Township Water Authority may need, and that way she can determine what program they have that is available to help. So,
She could attend a meeting.
That I don't know.
she's from
Works
Mill
out in
Hall. Mill Hall, PA. I'm not
She
sure.
had called me again today stating that they do have some programs available, don't know if they're a fit or not, and see what kind of funding they have available, so it's up to the board if they want to try to pursue that a little bit more.
Actually, when you go to that workshop, she'll probably be there. And they'll explain to you, like they have 2 avenues of funding through USDA. But
This
she's
is
in
no-
charge of certain ones.
Yes, and she's the one to be for what the water authority would need. She's the, whatever, the area manager for this area. So I don't know, do you want Peggy just to contact her and she get the information correct through Peggy, or do you want me to stay in contact with her?
I'd rather have you stay in contact with her, John. I'm so swamped right now with other stuff.
I mean, I can get whatever information, have her send us what's available and go from there.
Now, if she needs any information on, like a breakdown of what we're gonna need money for, I can give you that.
Yeah, if you can send me an email with that, I'm sure she can.
Okay. Like for that $105,000. The other thing when we were going for Penvest one, we were also talking about including the truck in that Penvest loan too. To pay that truck off. You know, but now I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to do that or not since,
That's something else that we
Yeah,
could
so I
talk
thought about that
at that
today, too.
workshop with.
and then we were talking about going through T-Berry in the Penvest loan and going out River Road to Caledonia. That all would be added into a Penvest loan also.
Well, we're gonna try for what we need for the plant itself first.
For the Penvest loan?
Yeah, there's
Oh.
still things we need for the plant, after, if we should get this loan.
I
And
think
then
it's-
go for the distribution system, bring that, have the information available when we talk to Penvest and say, okay,
So I thought we were gonna go for the lump sum for Penvest.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we were actually, when we talked that day, we were concerned about exactly what it was gonna cost us to upgrade the plant to the consent order and see what the payback was and see if we could, if it was affordable. And then go on at that point, but yet still have that information for maybe stage 2 with the distribution center system.
Now, as far as for USDA, I could add to that list that we would like to upgrade our 2-inch lines up to, distribution upgrade, and see if she has anything that would fall under that too. Okay. Okay, I'll get that to you. So.
Okay, the elimination of the period of looking over your items that needed approval. And everybody reads over their packet before they come. What we would give sound within reason?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think we need a motion for that.
And if the visitors wanna, have time to look over it, they can come 20 minutes early and read it, and then if they have any questions, they can pose their questions at the same time.
Right. Yeah, you know, okay. And, the other one was we need a motion to accept Jeff Silender's resignation.
Yes. I think I gave everybody a copy of the email I got from him.
Do I have a motion to accept the resignation of Jeff Silender from the Water Authority Board?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second? Motion, all in favor? Motion carried, and could we send him a card of thanks for his time?
What's the process of getting another person reappointed?
That,
The supervisor,
You have to write the supervisor's a letter stating.
I already did, I sent him a memo saying that, the board at last month's meeting requested that he be replaced.
okay. Move to number 11 then, it's an EPT workshop.
Yeah, there's gonna be a, water source protection, workshop here on, March 1st at, 6 o'clock. And EQT is supposed to be coming here, and they're supposed to be able, presenting, information about where they're mining and all that kind of stuff. And if anybody has any questions, they can approach it, right, Bob? I think that's my memory.
Well, it's related to the watershed up there, where the development plans are in the watershed.
The watershed, yeah. So that's March 1st.
And number 12, we have a permit to approve.
And there's a map on that.
Okay, Stacy Coons, Kane Road, gonna put up a carport roof.
And Eric said he already checked it out, and so we
He's
will
good to
be
go.
able to issue down that order.
Okay. Take a look.
What's her name on it?
Stacy Coons. The drawing is on the back side there, going away from the water line.
To accept this as
Okay, I'd like to have a motion.
Can I ask
to
one
accept-
question?
Oh,
The NPDES permit, who's doing the DMR on that? Is CME or is Eric, or what's the plans for that? I think it's due, what, monthly, Ed?
Yeah, and we already have it set up in the spreadsheet, so it's gonna get set in, and Eric's supposed to be getting registered.
Okay, so it will be an ED?
Yeah, we may not be able to do it online yet, because his registration didn't come back yet.
Okay,
So we'll submit it in a,
but that base is covered though. All right. Thank you, that's all.
I have a motion to approve the assessment permit for Stacy Coons for a carport roof. Make a motion. A second.
I'll second it.
Yeah, all in favor?